Act 5, investigation start. Where we left off, the gang had all gone to sleep on the tower floor after in the vault on a little bed they brought in after realizing that they need to find out which of them is Vanexius, find him and kill him to escape from the tower. But in the night, even with all of them there, a tall, dark, and spooky figure, as described by Joffrey, came into the room and loomed over them until Olive seemingly scared him away via screaming. And we dive into our final investigation. And I really am very excited because I remember learning last week that some of the biggest twists aren't known by my two main players, which is very exciting to me. So, we're going to dive right in. We're just going to go right through it. When you start investigating, you can work your way through the floors. Excuse me, goodness gracious. Get all sorts of clues. So, rather than letting you choose where you go first, I'm going to go through things in order until there's like specific decisions to be made. Tonight's going to be a lot of me talking and just following along, but we're going to get there. Let's start on the first floor and work our way up. Looking at the door, still sealed. I guess it was too much to hope for that the black smoke we saw was Vanexius dying. Fret not, my lady. We shall find him yet. If you look... Oh, so down on the first floor, there is one major difference, which is instead of stars and a moon painted on the wall, there's an artificial light that's sort of slowly rotating over Merryroot City, which you can investigate and get. Well, that explains the sun rising and setting. If I may speak plainly, I did always find it rather odd that it never once rained in Merryroot City. Huh. Never even noticed. Second. Okay. And looking at Merryroot, if we hadn't decided to try to break everyone out, we could have just gone back to Merryroot and lived happily ever after. This is true, my lady, but that hardly sounds like the spirit of an adventurer to me. Yeah, I guess sitting still never really was my style. 'Tis why you departed in the first place. Also down on the first floor, we have Xeris, Nyron, and Olive. So let's go ahead and do our Xeris and Nyron dialogue first. Hey, any sign of Vanexius? I'm afraid not. We didn't find him yesterday, and I can't imagine we'd suddenly find him now. Well, it might help if you were, looking. Olive's safety is our top priority. Olive wanted to come here, so we're making sure they are watched over. You understand, of course. Yes, of course I do. Sorry. And you can talk about changes, suspicious activity, and I think it's it for now. Did you notice anything that's changed about this place since last night? You mean aside from the obvious sphere of glowing light? No, I'm afraid not. I'm watching the door carefully in case Vanexius wants to do us a favor and say, drop dead. If only. Suspicious activity. Have you noticed anyone acting strangely today or yesterday? I think everybody's a little shaken. Yes, though I will say that Annabelle has been especially dour. Can you blame her after last night? Edgar, too. He's usually quite chipper. I'll check in on him and see what's up. Be careful, Penelope. I know I didn't distinguish who was talking there, Xeris and Nyron, and my voices for them aren't too different. I'm sorry, it's not super important for this conversation. Acquired clue, Annabelle's guilt. Acquired clue, Edgar's silence. And that's all for now. Keep your eyes peeled. I'll check back later. And then we talk to Olive. Hey, Olive. You okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Are you sure? Yes! No. I'm really scared. Hey, it's okay. Me too. Do you want to talk about it? I finally feel like I actually matter, and people are listening to me and talking to me, and for once I can be normal, and now... I saw him. Vanexius. I felt him standing there. That's why I woke up. It was like he was staring straight at me. It was so scary. Olive, listen to me. I am going to get to the bottom of this. I won't let Vanexius hurt you, I promise. Thanks, Penny. Do you need help? I might, yeah. Okay, I'll do whatever I can. And then you can talk to Olive about the first floor, changes, suspicious activity, and that's it for now. Why did you want to come to the first floor? Well, I thought maybe if Vanexius came back and tried to get me, I could just hide in Merryroot City. But then you'd be trapped. Maybe. But I'd think it was normal. That wouldn't be so bad. You all thought that for a long time, and you were okay, right? Olive, it's not going to come to that, I promise. Changes. Did you notice anything that's changed about this place since last night? Well, I was right. There's a magic sun, but otherwise, no, I don't think so. That's okay. Thanks, Olive. Have you noticed anyone acting strangely today or yesterday? Well, I don't really get to hang out with people a lot. Doesn't it seem like Xyla has been really excited by all of this? Isn't that weird? It's not weird for Xyla, but it is weird, yes. It could be worth looking into. Acquired clue, Xyla's enthusiasm. And that's all for now we can talk about to Olive about for now. So, moving on to the second floor. I think it's it for the first floor for now. Yeah, I know. Writing for Olive was such a weight off of my heart when we got to this part because I've been waiting the whole game for that twist to come out. When I first came up with the whole Olive twist of, like, not being able to express themselves because everyone thinks they're crazy, it was like, oh, what a cool twist. And the more I wrote, the more I'm like, God, I know Olive is a good person and a good kid who's just misunderstood. And it was weighing on me to not let Olive, like, speak. So it was such a relief to finally, like, be able to give Olive a character. Second floor, shelves of guards, the arcane workstation, and Xyla, David, and Sophie are all here. Sophie being the totem pole with the Surveyor of Finite Incantational Errors, the thing which tells you what spells happen. Let's talk to Xyla. Hey, Xyla. Making any progress? Always. But, much like with potions, these things take time. How about yourself? Any wondrous discoveries, detective? Maybe. I'll fill you in when you're all done here. For now, can I ask a few questions? Go ahead, love. And you can talk about changes, suspicious activity, or Xyla's enthusiasm now that we've acquired that clue. Have you noticed anything different from yesterday, Xyla? Yes. The spellbook was open, but I'm quite sure that I closed it before coming to the vault. And that doesn't surprise me. And... Oh, sorry. I should talk to Sophie. Maybe she'll know what was going on. There's a very, like, weird qualifier for when that line happens, and it translates down to, if you haven't talked to Sophie yet, add that line in. Suspicious activity. It's so the spellbook is very much meant to be, like, vast and complicated, which is why the I should talk to Sophie line is in there, because only Edgar and Annabelle can read that. Though I actually do kind of like that point, because I think Penny would ask that too, and Xyla should have a don't know, you should ask Sophie. So 1 second. Good question. Thank you very much. That's why it's good to bounce off people. Have you noticed anyone acting suspiciously in the past few days? Oh, everyone has been acting suspiciously, love. These things are to be expected in a time of crisis. And yet, I do find it especially curious how quickly Olive moved on. What do you mean? Well, if I was gaslit my whole life into believing that everything I saw was a lie, I wouldn't be chipper about it the next day. I did talk with them about that. They seemed genuinely okay. The best actors often do. Yeah. Acquired clue, Olive's forgiveness. Let me know if you guys can tell where these clues are going. And we can talk about Xyla's enthusiasm now. So you've been a little overly enthusiastic of late, wouldn't you say? What's not to be enthusiastic about? Oh, you know, people dying, finding out you've been in prison for most of your life, the usual. Miss Knifewit. I am in a tower filled to the brim with strange artifacts, dark magic, and most importantly, literally anything other than the same things over and over again. Merryroot was a prison, and now I get to find out about the one who made it? Fascinating. And you're not, concerned about Vanexius? Please. He's imprisoned us all at different times. If he shows his face, we'll take care of it. That's true, I guess. Alright, thanks. Updated clue, Xyla's enthusiasm, and actually I want to add a note for myself. Her implications seem unclear there. That is, yes, Red, you have figured it out. That is absolutely, there's a clue for everyone to be suspicious. Hmm. The implication Xyla is making there is like, hey, if he had to imprison us all at one point in time, all of us together could take him. But that needs to be more expressly said, so I'm adding that note for myself. Um, and I think that's all we can talk to about Xyla about for now. So let's go to David. Hey, David, you holding up okay? Just like every other time you've asked. No, not particularly. Right. You talked about changes, suspicious activity, and that's all for now. Have you noticed anything different about this place from last night? I think so. Have you been upstairs? There was a bunch of weird stuff about it. Like what? Some of the magical stuff stopped working, like the light in the garden. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to check it out. Thanks. Acquired clue, dark garden. Suspicious activity. Have you noticed anyone acting strangely in the last few days? I don't know. I don't usually notice things like that. Fair. Thought I'd ask. I mean, I guess it's weird that Nyrin and Xeris are just downstairs, right? Everyone else is trying to help. They don't really seem to care much about what happens. Is that weird? A little bit, yeah. It's worth considering. Acquired clue, the noble's apathy. Okay, and I think it's all we can do with David for now. So let's talk to Sophie. I wonder. Sophie, were there any new spells cast since the last time we asked? You betcha, darling. Want some more information on that? Yes, please. The most recent spell I detected was a Reaper's Call spell, second floor. Caster, the Master. Hey, that's a fun little rhyme. No errors detected. But? Well, the spell ain't finished yet. What do you mean, isn't finished? Spell's cast and what all, but there's a trigger for it that ain't happened. So it's possible that it went off on a floor I can't see, or it's possible it's still waiting in the wings, so to speak. I see. Thanks, Sophie. Nothing else? Nope, just that. Xyla. Penny? What is it? Are you okay? Fine. A word, love, if you have a moment. So of course we have to go back and talk to Xyla, because she is now asked to talk to us. And when you talk to her, we skip the intro, and you go directly to... What is it, Xyla? I am slightly concerned with what Sophie just said. You don't scare easy, so slightly concerned for you is alarming for the rest of us. What is it? The Reaper's Call. I've heard of that spell before. Heard of, not cast? Not cast. You can't come back from something like that. What do you mean? What does it do? Sounds like some sort of nasty killing spell, is that it? Hardly. Reaper's Call doesn't just kill you. In fact, it doesn't kill you at all. It's something of an explosive. But the body is unharmed. It's the soul that is destroyed in its wake. Penny, a shock thing. I only got a quick look at Vanexius, like the rest of us, so I didn't put two and two together. But that's what he was holding. I'm sure of it now. That red sphere was an undetonated Reaper's Call. It would have ripped all of our souls from our bodies and torn them to pieces. No afterlife, no nothing. Just gone. That's insane. So, why didn't he use it? Like I said, there's no coming back from it. Once you destroy someone's soul, it leaves a stain on yours that can never go away. It's like a spiritual suicide pact. You are beyond damned for doing something like that. So you're saying Vanexius got cold feet? We can only hope so. If he's still planning on using it, well, perhaps it's best we aren't all in a room together until we know for sure that we're safe. Gods. Is there anything else I should know about the spell? I'll look into it, but that's all I know. Okay. Thanks, Xyla. Stay sharp. You too, love. Great. So now there's that. Hee. Cool. So that's all we can do with that. Let's head up to the third floor. So the fire in the sitting area has gone out. Is the only difference in the third floor. Looking at the books doesn't really do anything. No time to rest right now. This is looking at the sitting area. No time to rest right now. Also, it seems darker in here. What happened to the fire? Somebody must have extinguished it. But why? And more importantly, how? Acquired clue, extinguished flame. And then up on the first, there's no one on the third floor, by the way. Fourth floor, we have Edgar and Annabelle, We also have the garden, the bathhouse, the wardrobe, and the crystal balls. The bed frame is missing. The bed frame is missing its mattress because the mattress has been taken. And there's no steam coming out of the bathhouse, no light coming out of the garden. Wardrobe. Opens wardrobe. Yep, these sure are child-sized robes. Why didn't they change? Intriguing! Acquired clue, regular wardrobe. Bed frame. The frame to the big comfy mattress we all slept on last night. Wish there was more time to enjoy it. Crystal balls. I wonder if there's a way to test these things, if these things are working without, touching them. Would you like me to take the risk for the greater good, my lady? Absolutely not. Bathhouse. We see the bathhouse, but the steam is gone. Just the bathhouse. Nothing on here. Is there not? Something seems different, though I cannot place precisely what. Huh? Oh, you're right. There's no steam. Actually, it's quite cool in here. What do you suppose could have happened? I don't know. Acquired clue, cold bath. Garden, same thing, but it's pitch black. That's weird. Who turned out the light? Perhaps Vanexius is trying to defeat you by starvation. I guess we will run out of food pretty quickly now. Acquired clue. Oh, we already have Dark Garden, so we don't get that again. And let's talk to Edgar. Actually, no. For the sake of some extra dialogue in there, we're going to talk to Annabelle first. It's kind of an Easter egg dialogue thing, but you get some extra if you talk to Annabelle first. Oh, there's actually extra dialogue both ways, so I'll come back to that one as well. Hey, Annabelle. Penny. Thank you. Huh? For what? I had given up. I still just don't know what's going on, but you protected me. Even though, hey, I don't know what our conflict was when I first got here, or for all I know, it could have been one big misunderstanding. But the Annabelle I know is my friend. The Annabelle I know now is my friend. Right. So, thank you. Of course. Ready to help out with one last mystery? Yeah. Let's do this. You can talk about changes, suspicious activity, and I don't think we got the clue for Annabelle's thing yet, so we're not going to do that one yet. Thank you for the lurk. Appreciate it. Changes. Have you noticed anything different about this place since yesterday? Yeah. It seems like some of the magic has been shut down. Oh, sorry. There is an extra clue we would have gotten by now called magical endings, which you automatically triggers once you get all 4 of the weird magical things. Let me find that really quick, just so we can keep things in order. Magical endings where all your dreams come true. Where does it say? Okay, so the garden, bathhouse, wardrobe. Oh no, it's in combinations. You have to actively combine it. Or does it happen? Hang on. Sorry, I'm still relearning my thing. Okay, no, it does appear automatically. Cool. So the garden, bathhouse, wardrobe, and eternal fire have all been uncast, dispelled. They're gone. There has to be a reason for that. And I think that's all you get from that? Yes, that's all we get from that for now. Cool. Moving on. Now we can go back to animal dialogue because we have that. So when magical endings happens, yeah, I noticed that too. Any idea what that's about? No. If Vanexius wanted to kill us, why get rid of his magic? Suspicious activity. Have you noticed anyone acting strangely in the last few days? Honestly, no. I've been too worried that I might be some evil wizard in disguise and not even know it. Right. Magical endings. Oh no, sorry, we don't get this because that vanishes if we already chose changes, so we're good there. We can talk about Reaper's Call because we do have that now, so we're gonna talk about Reaper's Call. What do you know about a spell called Reaper's Call? I don't know. Sounds nasty, though. Why? We think Vanexius tried to cast it. Or maybe succeeded, but it's not done yet. Just keep your eyes peeled for a glowing red ball. I'm going to say orb. Orb's a better word than ball. For glowing red orb. Yeah. Okay. And that's all for now. Okay, now we're gonna go back and talk to Edgar. Hey, Ed. Find anything useful up here? No, I'm sorry. I've been distracted. Bye? Edgar gestures vaguely at everything. Fair. Can I distract you from your distraction with some questions? Yeah, of course. Changes! Have you noticed anything different about this place from yesterday? Looking around, doesn't something up here feel off to you? Yeah, I did notice all of that. Ah, well, so I did notice all of the magical stuff. Well, I'm afraid I've got nothing then. Suspicious activity. Have you noticed anyone acting suspiciously in the past few days? Yeah, now that you mention it. Don't you think David has been out of sorts? Well, the guy was pretty traumatized. He doesn't handle most situations normally. We've never seen him react to something like this before. Sure we have. When Kite died, when the priestess vanished, I know he and Grunt were close, but he's been inconsolable since then. You can't put a time limit on grief, Edgar. I know. I'm just... Sorry, sweetheart. I'm clutching at straws, I guess. Hey, it's worth looking into anyway. Magical endings. Oh, sorry. Acquired clue. David's sorrow. Magical endings. A lot of powerful spells seem to have ended on the top 2 floors. Do you know anything about that? I don't know. My understanding of magic is rusty at best. You never did tell me what that was all about. It's not something I like getting into. Alright. I respect that. Did we get the clue for Edgar? I feel like we've talked to everyone now. So we must have, but I don't remember anyone saying anything about it. Because Zyla calls out... Who did the nobles call out? Hang on. Okay, no, we do. We get Annabelle's... we get Annabelle's and Edgar's from the nobles. Thank you. Okay, cool. So actually, I can go back and do Annabelle's in a minute too, but let me do Edgar's first, because we're already here. So this Edgar's silence is the clue. Edgar, you've been quiet today. Are you okay? Are any of us, sweetheart? How could we be? I know, but you're the caretaker of the town. Always have been. So when you aren't trying to cheer people up, it almost seems suspicious. And What is it? You know you can tell me anything. I found something, Penny. I don't know exactly what it is. I haven't had a moment of privacy to figure it out. But I don't think it looks good for me. What is it? Please. I just need a minute. Can you talk to Annabelle, keep her facing away from me so I can look for myself? Sure. Okay. Acquired clue, Edgar's evidence. Updated clue, Edgar's silence. So now, this is why I want to talk to Annabelle first, because you get a special... If you don't talk to Annabelle before this, you just get regular dialogue. If you talk to her after this, you get a special distraction option. And let's also do Annabelle's guilt while we're here. So let's start with... I'll start with distraction because it's funny. This is only available if you talk to her before Edgar. So, Belle, tell me about the academy you went to. What? Really? Now? Is that important to finding Vanexius? Maybe. There's still a lot we're trying to figure out. But that's not... Okay. Well, it was called the Arcanium. People came from all over to study there before the world ended. Well, I guess it didn't end. Sure. And, hey, are you okay? You're acting funny. Me? No, I'm fine. Tell me more about the, chrysanthemum? What are you up to? We see Edgar with a vacant stare in the background. Nothing. Hey, you're right. This wasn't a good time. I'm, distracted by mystery stuff. Okay, weirdo. And so just a little bit of extra dialogue you get. But let's do Annabelle's, guilt really quick. Annabelle, are you still feeling guilty? Yes, of course I am. How could I not be? Belle, we all saw Vanexius. If it were you, you'd know it by now. Even if I'm not, I must have been working with him. If I'd helped him, then nothing. We're not going to punish you for something you don't even remember doing. Belle, ... It's going to be okay. We'll figure it out. Updated clue, Annabelle's guilt. Now let's go back to Edgar. Evidence. So, Edgar, vacant. Ed, Penny, I think I could be in trouble. No way. Are you? I'm not Vanexius. I know that for sure. How? What is it? Penny, hey, easy. We see Penny gives him like a big hug as Edward is fully weeps. Belle, I'm gonna go downstairs, and Belle leaves. Um, I don't know how to. Hey, listen to me. Deep breaths. Remember when the priestess vanished, and I promised Joffrey I wouldn't tell anyone what was going on unless I had to? Same deal. You don't even need to tell me what you found. Not until you're ready. Gods, here's something else, Knifewit. I'll be okay, and if it comes down to it, and I need to prove my innocence, I will. Or, well, I'll prove that I'm not Vanexius, at least. Okay, I've got your back on this. I know you do. You've got this, sweetheart. You always do. Updated clue, Edgar's evidence. We are in it now, gang. Oh, Boise. Okay, so now the only thing left to do is go back and, I mean, we have some clue combinations to do, but let's go back and talk to everyone about their suspicious activity stuff first. We got David, Edgar, and Annabelle. That's the question, isn't it? So we still need to do Xeris and Nyren, Olive, and Zyla. We did Zyla. So just Xeris, Nyren, and Olive, I believe. Did everyone else? Right? We did Annabelle, we did Edgar, we did David. Did we do David? We didn't do David. We're going to do David. Okay. David, Xeris and Nyren, Olive. Starting with David. We'll work our way down. Oh, also, if you go to the third floor, there is... hang on. I got it all out of order. If you talk to Annabelle on the third floor after the talk with Edgar, she goes, hey, everything okay with Edgar? Yeah, he'll be all right. It's been an emotional few days. For all of us. Do I get a hug too? Do you want one? Now that you mention it, no, I don't. Just a little side bit. So something to remember, Red, is that Edgar's backstory as told is not required. You don't necessarily, not everyone who plays the game is going to get that dialogue. Because if they don't choose 2 rounds of downtime with Edgar, they don't get it. And as we'll discuss afterwards, there's a couple of hints within certain backstories that are, you may or may not get it depending on what you choose. Just something to consider. Let's go get David's sorrow, and we can talk about Reaper's Call as well. David's sorrow. David, I know you've been kind of down lately. Is there anything you wanted to talk about? Not really. I'm just really sad. I know. We all are. I guess just... Never mind. We're just not used to seeing you sad. You're always the first to cheer up after something bad happens. Well, I can try, but nothing this bad has ever happened before. It's alright, Griff. We'll talk about it after. Again, we're gonna have a whole big Q&A at the end of this. Nothing this bad has ever happened before. I mean, we thought the world had ended. Yeah, but you guys were always my world anyway. David. Updated clue, David's sorrow. Reaper's Call. The spell that Sophie mentioned, Reaper's Call. Do you know anything about that? This is the first time I've heard of it. Doesn't really sound like something I could do with holy magic. Or something I'd want to do. I should hope not. Okay. Ooh, cracks. Ooh, back cracks. Please hold. Oh, God. Oh, I'm such an old man. I'm basically Cal up in here. Okay, let's go talk to Xeris and Nyren and do the Noble's apathy. There's a couple of other little things. You can pretty much talk to anyone about any of the clues you find in this. Like the magical endings, you can talk to anyone about. Oh, you do need to talk to Zyla about that, which we'll get to in a minute. I know you're trying to take care of Olive. I get that. But it does seem a little suspicious that everyone is working to get to the bottom of this and you two are just standing around. What exactly are you suggesting? We already told you why we're here. Isn't that enough? I hope so. Updated clue, the Noble's apathy. Let's get Xyla's magical endings dialogue really quick, because that is another important clue. I may take out some of these. Hang on. So I've been playing Danganronpa 2, and it's showing me what parts of mystery games like this are like, oh, cool, and what parts are like, oh, this is frustrating. So I may go back and cut some of the unnecessary dialogue options. But that's a thought for later. We were looking for magical endings. Where's magical endings? Hello? Where's magical endings? There it is. A lot of powerful spells seem to have ended on the top 2 floors. Do you know anything about that? Not specifically, but usually if someone is ending a permanent spell, it's because they need the power back. What does that mean? Okay, thanks, Red. Casting something that lasts forever takes an immense toll. It's why the priestess, well, I guess that was fake, but in theory, it's why the priestess meditated rather than simply casting a barrier around the city. It takes too much power to make something permanent, but if you're capable of it, it puts a sap on your... I'm saying power too much. Takes a sap on your energy. A sap that can be ended by terminating the spells. Got it. Thanks, Sila. Updated clue, magical endings. Cool. Now we're going to do the last bit of suspicion, which is Olive's forgiveness. Olive, are you sure you aren't mad at anyone from town? Huh? Of course I'm sure. I told you that, right? Don't you believe me? I do. It's just... it's unusual. Most people, even people with a lot more experience than you, hold on to grudges for a long time. How quickly you moved on does feel a little suspicious. I guess. I just don't see the point in holding on to things like that. Things were really bad for me, and now they're better. I just want to be happy about that. Yeah, I get it. Never mind. I'm sorry for doubting you. It's okay. Penny, can I show you something? Of course. We see Olive holding the journal that Penny gave her. When I was on my own, all I had was drawing. I tried to draw the things I saw so maybe you guys would understand, but nobody ever seemed to. The journal you gave me, I filled it up in a day. That's how bored I was in my room. How can I be sad at moving past that? I hope I was as cool as you when I was a kid. I bet you drew some incredible things. Olive, opening journal. Kinda. Mostly just Olive, fully shocked. What is it? Someone wrote over my drawings! What? Let me see. Nyron, what's going on? We see the open journal. Child's crayon drawings fill the pages. We see a tree with a bubble around it, a couple of faceless guards, but beneath that, we see fancy cursive script. No way. Olive, did anyone take your journal last night, or look at it? No, I held it with me all night. Xeris, wait, look. Nobody wrote over your drawings. You drew over someone's writing. Huh? He's right. See? The drawings are covering the writing up. Fortunately, it's still pretty legible. The pages must have been concealed when they passed through Merryroot's barrier. But our memories didn't come back. Why did these words? I don't know, but we have to figure out what it says. Let's gather everyone. Olive. Wait. What is it? What if Vanexius sees it and does something bad? Can we keep this a secret for now? Sure. Is it okay if I read it, though? Yeah, obviously. Am I your partner now? Hell yeah, you're my partner. Good. Mom, Dad, go over there. Penny and I have to do secret detective stuff. Come now, I hardly think that's necessary. I see no reason we can't know the contents as well. Penny! Hey, you heard the kid. This is official detective business. Stand well back, please. Nyron. Ridiculous. Xeris. You're enjoying this too much, Penelope. Acquired clue, reappearing journal. God, you can get this clue earlier. I saved it for dramatic effect, but obviously it depends on the order. I can't tell people to visit Olive last, so that has to be up to them. Let's look at the reappearing journal. No, I love Olive so much. All right, let's see what we've got. Do you want to read it? I don't know if I can read this fancy handwriting. At least not fast. Can you do it? Sure. Journal opens. 2243, third moon, second day. My rival has returned to the tower yet again, with promises of grandeur and power that they cannot keep. I grow tired of their advances and seek a solution to the ceaseless distractions to my work. I have concocted an idea, a way to be rid of them without going back on my deal. It is a simple yet elegant solution that I call Merryroot City. This must be Vanexius' journal! This is so cool! Who do you think his rival was? I don't know! Keep reading! 2243, fourth moon, sixth day. I've done it. Merryroot is complete, and my rival is trapped inside. No more will they plague me with incessant drivel. My work can continue as planned. Keep going! Keep going! The next part is written in some sort of magical text. It looks like a lot of spell theory. Oh, that's boring. Skip back to the journal parts! Turning pages. Okay. 1 second. Here. 2246, 3 years later. First moon, 8th day. An assassin has been dispatched in a feeble attempt to be rid of me. While he was quite skilled, he was not so keen as to avoid slipping into Merryroot. I am beginning to think this master stroke will be far more aid to me than simply keeping away a pesky rival. An assassin? Do you think that was my dad? Maybe. It doesn't help that Vanexius didn't know anyone's names. Should I keep going? Yes! 2247, fourth moon, second day. Another visitor after only a year. He claims his intentions are pure and he wishes to aid me. I detect no falsehood in his voice, though there is something about this visitor I cannot place. I shall keep him at my side for the time being and maintain a careful watch over him. My work has been slow as of late anyway, and the distraction comes at a welcome time. Then more magic stuff. Here. 2249, first moon, first day. The persistent kindness of my visitor is more frustrating than any incantation I have attempted to craft. In spite of my insistence that magical progress cannot be made without carving down those who get in your way, he stays by my side, determined that there is good in me. His smile is disarming. I shall write no more of him in this journal. I must reserve it for more important musings. Is there more? Not for a while. Yes, here. 2251, sixth moon, fourth day. Funds running short, and my usual suppliers have become greedy. I've decided to abduct a noble for ransom for a sizable reward. None would dare refuse my offer given what is at stake. There's no date on this next one. Damn them all to hell. Instead of payment, they sent a cleric to purify my tower and retrieve the noble. The audacity. As if even the gods themselves would stand against me. Not today. I've cast them both into Merryroot City. May they rot. I have work to do. This is so cool. Do you think he's going to tell us who he is? I don't think the journal would do that. There's definitely a lot of important information here. Is there more? Yeah. No date on this one either. And the handwriting looks a bit shaky. I am undone. I was not so blind as to disregard this outcome, so I crafted powerful artifacts to aid me. Surely if I could go back and speak with him a second time, a third, more, I'd be able to find what I was saying wrong. Surely if I had an indicator of his trust for me, I would be able to guide the conversation to a place where he would be happy. But it was not enough. None of it was. He has left me. He has left me for a prison of my own creation. How could it have come to this? Then, right below that, the handwriting goes back to normal. I begin to understand. I can see it now. I know why he left. If only I could tell him. My own genius has foiled me. I cannot enter Merryroot City and retain my intentions. I too would become trapped within. I cannot sacrifice everything I have done. I cannot undo my work. I must work. I must work. Then what? What happens? I think that's it. It's all arcane words. Maybe just writing for his work, whatever that is. Oh, nothing? Man. Hang on. There's one line right here in the middle of it all. No date. It just says, that damned assassin escaped again. I'm done with his persistence. I shattered his spine and tossed him back in. Let's see him recover from that. Kite! Of course he would never give up. There's no lie Sophie could put in his head that would stop him from wanting to get out into the world. Oh, please hold. I'm just going to do a quick, don't mind me. Thank you. Has you a real quick ban on that one. Immediately knew. moving on. That might be... Ah! Last page. There's a little more. Ah! Read it! 2262. That's 11 years later than the last dated entry. Wow. Okay. 2262. Moon unknown. Day unknown. I can stand the isolation no longer. I am trapped. I am alone. And my work means nothing. I have only one whom I wish to share my discoveries with. And he is only inches away. I shall leave the tower to my assistant. Should I return with my love someday, before I am released from my simulacra, she will inform us of the truth, and I will be set free. There is no other way. I must see him once more, even if it is through eyes that are not my own. Oh, boy. Red, are you a mod? Are you one of my mods yet? If you are, and you just want to throw down on these people as they come in, that would, I've already banned the person who just followed, so we're doing great. I'm going to do my best to keep going, guys. This happens sometimes, I guess. Oh, boy. I'll never understand why people do this. Okay. I must see him once more, even if it is through eyes that are not my own. So, Vanexius wasn't put into Merryroot. He chose to be in Merryroot. How long ago was that? 2262. 7 years. If we were tracking time correctly in Merryroot, that was 7 years ago. So who was the assistant? It only makes sense that it would be the first person I met when I came out the first time. Annabelle! Yeah. Hey, Penny. Am I the best sidekick you've ever had? Absolutely. Nobody else could have said, read more, with quite so much enthusiasm. Thanks. Do you want to keep the journal? No, you hold on to it. Then when we get to the big reveal, you can take it all out all dramatically and show everyone all the evidence. Yeah! I can't wait. Acquired clue, the tale of Vanexius. Updated clue, Olive's forgiveness. Actually, I don't think we need to update Olive's forgiveness. I think it's done earlier. Let me double check that really quick. If it's not, I will go make it done earlier. Yes. There we go. Cool. Yeah, so that's obviously what that all means comes later. Please let me know, my dear viewers, if that feels like too much. I feel like the journal is a lot of text. It's all important and it makes sense to find. But if that's too much, please let me know, because there's probably another way to work that in. I'm going to bite of chocolate really quick, since I'll find out where we're going next. When you follow up on all these suspicious activity lines, you get nobody trusts anybody right now. Well, anybody except for me, it would seem. You have earned that trust time and time again. Yeah, but I don't know how I'm supposed to find the truth here. There's so many unknown factors. If you combine Reaper's Call with magical endings, you get, if ending permanent magic spells can return the power of the caster, it stands to reason Vanexius needed all of that power to use Reaper's Call. Indeed! I shall be vigilant should I see him, my lady. We shan't let him finish that spell! Yeah, stopping it has to be our top priority. And I think that's it. Let me take a look at the key clues here. Just did that. Yeah, cool. That's it. That's the investigation. It is a shorter one. And yet, once that happens, I think we've gathered as much evidence as we're going to be able to. Do you feel confident in your ability to locate Vanexius? Not even a little bit. I'm hoping that maybe someone else found Xyla. If everyone would be so kind as to gather on the second floor, I've discovered some pivotal information, and in the words of Penelope Knifewit, I believe it's time to solve the case. We shift to the contemplation screen, which, as a reminder, to seen this in a minute, is Penny kind of contemplating on her own in the middle of a black background. Excuse me. All right, this is it. By the end of the day, either we're all dead, or we've got our freedom. So many mysteries remain, my lady. You may not be able to rely simply on clues you found today. I think you're right. There are things that happened to us in past mysteries that we may finally be able to get answers to, or at least use to Edgar. Penelope? The contemplation background fades, and we see Edgar sort of walking past her, whatever floor you were on before. You coming? Shit, yeah. Sorry, on my way. Smash cut to the second floor, where everyone has gathered with mixed looks of fear and determination. It is very much the same sort of setup as the trial scenes from the town hall, though everyone's standing or leaning on walls because there's no table. Part 1. The big reveal. Alright then, let's begin, shall we? This is a pleasant change of pace. We are gathered here today, blah blah blah. It's time to end this once and for all. I hope you've all been investigating, because we'll need every clue possible to uncover the truth about the shadowy figure that tried to kill us last night. Bell. Tried to... Xeris. Shadowy figure. It was Vanexius. I thought we knew that already. Oh no. A very coy deception on their part, but I'm afraid the figure we saw standing before us was a misdirection. That can't possibly have been our dark captor. David. Why is that? Because... Xyla, way too pleased about this. I am Vanexius. David. Shock. Olive. Nyron. Penny. All shocked. Xyla. Now, before you strike me down where I stand, I'd like to reassure you, I hold no ill will towards any of you. As Miss Knifewit postulated, I have no memories of my time before the tower. Being as I now consider you all close friends, I am certain that together we can find a way to remove this barrier without the need for violence. Welcome back, Red. Bell. But wait, how do we know we can trust you won't turn on us once the barrier is down? Nyron. No worries. I mean, I can make you a mod. Is that okay? Can I make you a mod? I just did. If that worked. I don't know if that worked. You might be a mod now. Nyron. No, stop. Before we address that, how can you be certain that you are Vanexius if your memories are gone like ours? I'm glad you asked, Lady Nyron. I've finished my research into shape-altering spells. As it turns out, it was rather simple in the end, but I wanted to cast it secretly so Vanexius didn't know I was casting it. I did so. Sophie, tell our gathered friends about the most recent spell cast in this tower. It'd be my pleasure. Last spell cast on my watch was an oracular spell with shape-shifted filter, second floor. Caster, Xyla Bloodshadow. No errors to report. And the result of said spell, one shape-shifted being has been discovered and logged by request. The shape-shifted being is Xyla Bloodshadow. Penny, shock, Edgar, shock. Xyla. So, you see, it stands to reason that I am Vanexius, and have simply forgotten. Which only leaves the question, who came into the vault last night? No, wait, I'm not convinced. What's not to believe, love? What about the spell we heard earlier? Sophie said Vanexius cast that. No, Sophie said the Master cast that. There's no reason they couldn't be different people. But if you need further proof, I found another spell in Vanexius' spellbook, which is to say my spellbook, that should undo the transformation. Care to see me as I really am? David. Should we really, what if she gets even more powerful? Oh, I appreciate the sentiment, David, but I wasn't asking for your permission. Nyron. Wait, Edgar. Someone stop her. Magical flash. We see Xyla holding a green flame in her hand. Oh, it's too late for that, loves. Olive. No! Flurry of magic. Flash of light, crackles. As the smoke clears, we see Xyla in her true form, cackling madly. Now, it should be noted, Xyla's true form is about half the height she was before. Purple skin, fairy wings, sparkling kind of like silver freckles, very much not as described. Well, you don't see that every day. Xerist. Everybody get back! Xyla. No need to fear, children. As I have said, I have no intention of harming you, and I actually don't seem to look much like Vanexius as Joffrey described to him, do I? That's because you're not him. What? I don't understand. If I'm not Vanexius, then who am I? You're Xyla Bloodshadow. You always have been. As for the whole fairy situation, we may have to unpack that later. But the question isn't who you are, it's who you are to Vanexius. And how can we possibly know that? I have a piece of evidence that will make everything quite clear. Or rather, someone else does. David. Huh? Clue presentation. You can choose who has the evidence, which is either Edgar, David, or Olive. Of course, it's Olive. So I'm not gonna talk anymore about Xyla. We will discuss and unpack Xyla after we get to a better stopping point than this. No, we'll discuss it later. We'll discuss this later. I don't remember exactly what I've written and if there's more beyond that. Excuse me. Whew. Obviously it's Olive. Olive, go ahead. Aha! We see Olive with the journal. Your drawing journal? Yes, and also not yes. I opened the journal to show Penny something, and look what I found. I don't know why I have Nyron acting shocked. Nyron actually knows this already, so we're going to change this to someone else acting shocked. We're going to make it Edgar again. Is that Vanexius' journal? We think it was disguised when I brought it into Merryroot City, but now that we're back out, we can see the writing again. So Olive and I did some digging. Why didn't you lead with that? That should tell us everything. Not everything. Besides, Xyla seemed to have a solution. I figured we could hear her out first. Well, don't keep us waiting, love. What does the journal say about me? Not much, but it does tell us what your relationship with Vanexius was. Actually, it tells us about a lot of the people in this room. But we'll start with you. You were. And then we get to guess which of these things was Xyla's relationship. I'm curious, because I don't know how this goes for those who don't know. Any of you can figure out or guess which of these 5 Xyla is in the relationship to Vanexius. All right, we've guessed rival. Vanexius' rival. You would come to him offering deals and trying to trick him into working together, but he only ever viewed you as a nuisance. That does sound plausible. Possible. But how can you be so sure it was me and not anyone else? Hyman. Tell us, Xyla. How long were you in Merryroot City? Just about 26 years, if memory serves. 2243, 4th moon, 6th day. I've done it. Merryroot City is complete, and my rival is trapped inside. 2243, 26 years ago. So, changing my shape was likely just a way to suppress my powers. Edgar. Maybe. Or maybe you did it to yourself to try to look less threatening for negotiations with Vanexius, and then when you were locked in Merrywood, you simply forgot who you really were as part of the magic memory magic. I see. Well, there's one mystery solved, I suppose. I really did think I had it this time. Bell. Personally, I'm glad it isn't you. Xerist. But we have a lead now. The journal. We can just eliminate people until there's only one left, and that will tell us who Vanexius is. Maybe. The journal cuts off before everyone arrives. We can narrow it down. Let's keep moving. Xeris, Nyron, which of you arrived in the city first? Nyron. I did. Xeris came, 3 years later? Something like that. Alright then. I should have everything I need to piece the rest of this together. So, there's 4 names and 4 titles. I'm just going to go ahead and throw them down here. Oh, actually, sorry, it should only be 3 because Xyla is already done. So I'm going to actually remove that. Feel free to play mix and match if y'all wanna, if you want to get in on the interactivity of this. I mean, one of them is already answered for you, so I realize it's actually a fairly easy kind of throwdown. Yep. We already knew that one. Yep. Correct. Correct. This is not meant to be terribly difficult. This is just meant to be like, I want it to be a little easy on the, I mean, first off, I can't make it more difficult without just objectively hiding information, but also, it's okay. I want the players to feel like, okay, we're all putting it together. Hey, psst, I'm not telling. We will see who Vanexius is. Now, I do have to say, guys, this is gonna feel not great, but there's no way for me to get around this. There's a clue I wrote in. I changed something slight to make things make a little more sense, and I had to write something else in earlier, like 1 or 2 lines, like truly very, very short, but just to establish an idea. Like I changed a little something up, but I can't tell you what I changed up because it will give away something very big. But I will, when I get there, I'll explain what happened. It's not the entire. It's not going to make you feel blindsided for the whole thing. It's a little thing I changed to make something make more sense, which you'll see soon. Anyway, a few years after Merryroot was established, Kite showed up, an assassin sent to kill Vanexius. He escaped several times before being crippled and wheelchair-bound. Later still, Vanexius kidnapped a noble and kept them for ransom. Nyren, I think that was you. But instead of paying ransom, a cleric was sent to purify the tower. That was David. Add Xyla onto that list as rival, and those are the 4 I'm certain of. Nyren, that really narrows it down. There are only 3 people here, aside from yourself, that you didn't name. That's right. Bell. So, Edgar, forlorn look. Xeris, is it me? Am I Vanexius? Penny. No. Actually, I don't think it was any of the 3 of you. Bell. Huh? David. Huh? Then who could it be? Nyren. And what about the very obvious attack we suffered last night? One thing at a time. First, let me make sure we're all on the same page. Once we rule out everyone in this room, it's going to make the rest of this investigation easier to parse. Luckily, there's a reason that none of the 3 of them could be Vanexius. Here we go! So, hang on, I'm going to post 3 of these clues, 1 for each character, are needed. I'm curious to see if, after all, I know you guys have not been playing this game very cohesively and that there's been weeks between each session, but I'm very curious if you guys can pick up which clues are the ones you need to clear, remember, Edgar, Bell, and David. Those 2 are correct. I'll give you that, Red. It is not Penny's notes. Penny's notes gives you the dialogue of, I found notes in the books on the shelf implying that I had been there. If I could have left notes, I would have said who Vanexius was if I knew them. But you wouldn't know. You'd be having the same trouble we are now. Xyla, that hardly seems watertight, love. There we go. Annabelle's presence. Now we got it. Moving on. Xeris, when we were running tests on everyone, we found that you had never cast dark magic in the past. How could you possibly be Vanexius? That's fair, and quite a relief, to be honest. Annabelle, I know you've suspected yourself for some time, but the journal confirms that Vanexius entered Merryroot long before I came here. He was already in the city when we met. He also mentioned leaving the tower to an assistant. Thank the gods. And Edgar, we have to trust. What? We're just trusting him? Penny, it's fine. Thank you for trying. But these people deserve to know. So it's you! No, it's not. I can't be Vanexius. Because I was his lover. Shock from everyone except for Penny. Penny, I had a feeling. And I didn't want to out you if we could avoid it. How did you find out? With this. We see Edgar holding a letter. I found this lying on the bed when we first arrived here. I didn't know what it said, but I recognized my handwriting, so I tucked it away until I could find a good time to read it. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have? For all I knew, it was a note to myself, and that would have been admitting I was Vanexius. I was afraid. Oh my gosh, just read the letter! Read it! Olive, it's fine. They're right. We see the letter as Edgar reads. V. It is with great sorrow in my heart that I write you this letter. I wish beyond measure I could have this conversation with you in person, but your actions have proven time and time again that should I try to broach the subject, you will either fail to believe me or take drastic measures to stop me. Neither of those outcomes are options for me anymore. By the time you read this, I will already be gone. I have no way to return outside of this tower, so I have instead turned inwards. Should you need me, you'll find me in Merryroot City. I'm told it's quite nice there this time of year, as it is all times of year. I know your work is important to you. I have given up any illusions that I could sway you from your purpose. I will spend no more of this life attempting to change your mind or your heart. I also know that should we see each other again, we will not likely remember who the other is. Such is the nature of the beast. Nonetheless, I do hope we meet you again, in this life or the next. Perhaps we can fall in love again, without the terrible weight of ambition to hold us apart. I wish you all the best, and hope that you save at least a small amount of space for me in your heart. Love, always, Edgar Everglow. Nyren, ... Xerath, ... Olive, ... Bell, ... David tearing up. David full weeping, just absolutely bawling. Hey, David, it's all right. You big softy. David sniffles. That is a good question, isn't it? So that's it. I'm not Vanexius, but I wouldn't blame you all for wanting me dead just the same. Edgar, the past is the past. Nyren, is it? Sounds as though you were quite loyal to Vanexius. Loyal enough, perhaps, to keep his secret? If I had any intention of hiding his secrets, I wouldn't have shared this letter. I don't remember any better than you do. Well, it can't be any of us. He must be hiding here somewhere. Not necessarily. But you said it yourself. Everyone is accounted for except for you. And if you're about to reveal that you've been Vanexius all along, I'm about to be very upset. No, it's not me. Listen, there's a big part of me that considered that twist, but having known, I'm gonna keep reading. We'll talk about this afterwards. No, it's not me. The journal I gave you, the journal gave us one more important bit of information. Olive. Oh, is this the Silumilum thing? Simulacra. Yes. Here. 2259, moon unknown, day unknown. I can stand the isolation no longer. I am trapped, I am alone, and my work means nothing. I have only one whom I wish to share my discoveries with, and he is only inches away. I shall leave my tower to my assistant. Should I return with my love someday before I am released from my simulacra, she will inform us of the truth, and I will be set free. There is no other way. I must see him once more, even if it is through eyes that are not my own. He came to Merryroot of his own volition? David, to be with Edgar. Zyla, and he hid himself inside a simulacra. That kind of magic. It's possible, right? It's like when I nested the messenger inside of one. Could you nest a whole being inside another? Zyla, hypothetically. So this, by the way, is the part where I read something in before. I'll explain it in just a second. He could have abandoned a physical form, discorporated himself into raw magic, and left himself inside a simulacra like an uncast spell. You'd have to be quite powerful for something like that. But I suppose Vanexius is quite powerful. Because if a message can get through the border of Merryroot without being erased by hiding in a simulacra, Edgar. Oh boy. Just another band I gotta do. So, the thing that got put in... No, I'm not gonna say it yet. Hold up. I can't say it yet. Sorry, too early. If a message can get through the border of Merryroot without being erased by hiding in the simulacra, Edgar, so can someone's memories. Exactly. Vanexius didn't need to be in control right away. He just needed to watch and wait for his simulacra to die. So if Vanexius came to the city 9 years ago, Who was his simulacra? So, a list of all names in the game appear. If you guess the wrong one, you get, no, that wasn't it. It was someone Olive viewed as fake, and someone who hadn't been in Merryroot very long compared to the others. Any guesses as to who Vanexius' simulacra was? You do get a list of all the characters in the game. Maybe a bite of chocolate. It can't be Eli because we saw what happened when a spell or simulacra tried to exit the city, and it was an explosion of light. Though I have had people guess Eli as well, which would also be a very good twist. It is not Cal. Cal, as we would have learned in the past episode, is something Penny cast. Penny was the Cal was the simulacra. Penny sent him with the messenger. Joffrey, we saw his dead body, meaning he was not a simulacra. He was a full person. Can't be Olive. Olive was born 12 years ago in the city. Timeline doesn't work out, and also was born and also left the city. I mean, the time, but also the main thing is it has to be someone Olive viewed as fake. That is the clue you're given. If you guess the wrong thing. Well, I'm glad this isn't a no-brainer. I know I don't go over like the timeline of everyone's arrival, and I'm wondering if there's a way a way for me to put that in without giving it away too easily. I mean, I can give you the list of people who Olive viewed as fake. Considering if you had played, it's probably more reasonable. But it is, so there was the three people Penny cast. There's Miles, Rogo, Cal, the Priestess, and Captain Grunt. Those are the people Olive viewed as fake. Everyone else was a real person. Which effectively gives the answer, because reasons. I do think I need to, at some point... No, I stand by what I said. Because I was going to say, like, oh, I should make it clearer that, like, I know there's some dialogue somewhere, like, but I think it's, like, in Grunt's downtime stuff. No, that's the thing, is because the Priestess has been there from the beginning. It has to be someone who got there very recently. Or hasn't been in Merryroot for very long compared to the others. Which means it does have to fall to Captain Grunt. Yeah, that is the implication. And I'm wondering if maybe I do need some more clues on that one. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. We all love Grunt. I actually remember now how the discussion we had where I'm like, I think Grunt might be fake, but I didn't know back then what the point of any of that was, or like what the purpose of that was. But now I do. Captain Grunt. I knew he was weird. That makes sense. Grunt arrived just about 9 years ago. Nyron. So when Olive killed the captain, Vanexius escaped. He likely appeared the same way he disappeared, in a cloud of black smoke. But through the blaze of the fire, we couldn't see it. All we saw was the flash of light that came from the simulacra fading. Xeris. Then he came back here? Surely we would have seen him if he had remained in the city. No, that's wrong. Because, which is my Duncan Romp reference for the thing, I guess. Because as we've already discussed, Vanexius isn't tied to a physical form. He came to the city because he loved Edgar, so he wouldn't have left after all that. He would have watched from somewhere safe. Where? And these are the options. And this is where there's a clue earlier that would have given it away. I'm going to go ahead and just post these. Those are the 3 options that you can choose of where he was watching safely from. And I'll explain the clue that this is that I inserted earlier to sort of make this a like oh shit moment, which I do miss having, but them's the breaks of that. That's part of the difficulty of working on something as I do it. It was not Joffrey's back room. If you say Joffrey's back room, you get Joffrey's back room. There was an observatory and plenty of space to keep away from Joffrey and Makara. Xerxes. I hardly think he could keep watch of what he wanted to from that far away. It can't be that simple. After Grunt died and Vanexius went free, he stayed in the city. Where was he able to safely watch from without being noticed? If you got so that was Joffrey's back room, which is not a correct answer. Ooh, I don't have a mess up dialogue thing. Hang on. Second. Sorry, writing it up for myself. So yes, it is the eyes of another, and this is the part I inserted earlier. In the second mystery, when discussing mind control, another option is brought to light. It's mentioned that mind control can only be done from close range. And so the excuse that Xyla makes for having to do these potions, these kind of slug things, is that she didn't have to be close to Nyrin and Xerxes when she mind controlled them. All she needed to do was have these slugs mind control them, and then she can just communicate with the slugs. When you talk about this concept, and you talk about the mind control options to Joffrey, Joffrey says you can mind control from close range, or if you're incredibly powerful, you can kind of disseminate yourself into magical energy and just possess someone, but it requires an immense amount of power, and you can only possess one person at a time. Hence, when you say the eyes of another, why do you think Vanexius stayed incorporeal? We've seen him in a physical form, so we know he was able to take one on, but doing so would have given him away. So if he wanted to stay close, he would have done so from a place no one would ever suspect him. Inside one of us. Xyla, shock. Olive, shock. Edgar, shock. Bell, of course. If he was able to hide in a simulacra, he could have just moved into someone's body. Not just their body, Annabelle. Their mind. What? But back when we were solving the case of the priestess, where the priestess went missing, Joffrey told me about another way to control someone's mind. It has to be done from close proximity, but for someone powerful enough, there's another option. Vanexius was, and I think still is, possessing someone in this room. David, shock. Edgar, shock. Penny, all you have to be able to do is discorporate, turn yourself into magical energy, which we've already established Vanexius is more than capable of. Nyrin, no, enough. You're simply guessing at this point. I believe Vanexius has that kind of power, but surely if he had control over one of us, he would have taken actions to escape with Edgar. Yes, and that's exactly what he did. Clue presentation. I'm going to keep going for this one, but the clues are killing Joffrey, framing Penny, or helping Miles. And helping Miles is the correct answer. You get, as I recall, shortly after Captain Grunt died, a mysterious disguised figure came to the gaping prison. Someone who not only unlocked the door for Miles, but told her that she had a connection to Eliezer. A connection that existed because Miles was a spell that I cast. She was an extension of me. She just had no way of knowing that until Vanexius told her. Xyla, we're even now. Vanexius owed me a favor, and I let him off like a chump. Nyrin, really, Xyla? That's what you took from all of this? David, but we're all... Xerxes, how are we supposed to know who it is? Bell, please tell me you figured it out. I can't take this anymore. Penny, yeah, I did. All right, guys, the final guess. This is the big one. This is the last twist. Who has Vanexius been possessing since the death of Captain Grunt for all of Act 4 and Act 5? They all, even the wrong answers, all have unique answers here, and there's no limit to how many wrong answers. There's no lose condition at this point in the game. That's a guess for David Sorrow. I'm not going to say if it's correct or not until Red. Red, do you want to guess as well, or do you agree with that? Or Red may have stepped away from the keyboard. All right, we have a guess for Edgar Silence, a guess for David Sorrow. Let me lead with Edgar Silence. Penny just simply says, there's no way Vanexius would have possessed his own lover. David Sorrow. When Grunt died, we all took it pretty hard. But none harder than David. Huh? Of course I did. He was my friend. He was a friend to us all. But you shut down completely. Were you really that broken up about a man you weren't that close with? Or were you... oh, I knew you were going to hate this, Red. Or were you buying time as you figured out how to pretend to be David? No, when you helped Miles, you brought her lockpicks, which David's holy magic let you mend. Something we all know he's capable of. But since you're in his body, you couldn't use your usual dark magic to melt them down like Annabelle did. You had to rely on acid instead. That's hardly... And when you finally broke, who did you run to for support but Edgar? A convincing play, but David never was the hugging type. Never quite understood physical affection. You just played off sorrow in the only way you knew how. By taking comfort in the person you loved the most. David goes from shocked to deadpan. I suppose I was fooling myself in thinking somehow this would be the mystery you didn't solve. David? Zyla. Vanexius. Xeris. How dare you? Edgar. If you've hurt David... Calm yourselves. David is perfectly fine. He's simply experiencing a long, restful sleep. Prove it. Let him go. And give up the only protection I have? No, I think not. If you try to harm me now, it's only David who dies. Nyrin. Coward. Zyla. You can't hide behind him You can't hide behind him forever, you know. Surely you've learned by now that we can decipher your spellbook. There is no threat you can lay at my feet that will shake me, Bloodshadow. Fear is an alien concept for those as powerful as I. Then why aren't you using that power? Come out and fight us. We'll see how strong you really are. Second word change. I am so excited. Guys, the voice actor for David, I'm so excited for because he needs to be so sweet and innocent, and then getting this part, are you kidding me? Anyway. I have no desire to fight. Destroying you was never my intention. And if I had wished to, I had every opportunity. You just know how numbered you are. You're bluffing. No, he's not. What? He could have done worse than kill us if he had really wanted to. We get another clue presentation, where we have to, it's Return to Merryroot, Sealed in the Vault, or Reaper's Call, which is the main, of course, the correct one. Reaper's Call. You all saw Vanexius earlier today, right? With that glowing red ball in his hand? That spell. It destroys souls in an explosion. We were all in a room together asleep, defenseless. He could have taken us out in one fell swoop. No way. But you didn't. Why? Edgar. Isn't it obvious? There were some people in that room he didn't want dead. Xeris. Even the evil wizard can form attachments then. It isn't as simple as all that, I'm afraid. You see, I really did have the intention of destroying everyone in that room. Flashback! We see the shot where everyone's in bed, but Penny and Edgar aren't lying down yet. A sleep spell is simple. With everyone as tired as they were, I knew whoever was on watch would succumb easily. And the notion that you would be awoken by the sound of a portal to the vault? Laughable. I command the silence as I command all things. We see black smoke fill the room. Edgar and Penny collapse onto the bed. We switch to the top floor where Vanexius stands. We have a view of the two beaded curtains with the light and the steam. And as we speak, we see the steam and the light fade. And the wardrobe cracks ajar. A blanket of peace covered you as I worked. I reclaimed my own strength, which I had set in this tower long ago. I prepared for resistance, for a fight if it was needed. And I brought that power down to the second floor, where I crafted the Reaper's Call. We see Vanexius over the spellbook, doing fancy magic things. I made no effort to hide my attempt. At that time, I was still of the mind to end this. After 7 maddening years of watching you all putter about in the prison I created for you, I would finally be free to continue my work. We see Vanexius back in the vault, appearing over the bed of sleeping people. But when I arrived, seeing you, all of you, I remembered. I remembered who I had become. We see a close-up of each sleeping face one by one, except for Olive, and ending on Edgar. I tried to use the spell. I tried to end it, to free myself from these feelings, from this torture, but I could not. And it was not merely for you, Everglow, but for a town of people I had come to know through the eyes of a captain who loved them. And somehow, in what was supposed to be simply a magical trap to keep my enemies out of my way, something incredible happened. And the one I loved the most created something that I, with all the magic in the world, never could. Life. Now we get a close-up on Olive. We see Olive's eyes open slowly. We see the shriek, but we don't hear it. And we snap back to the present room. And suddenly I knew why I could not condemn you all. Because at some point, when I was lost, when I failed to properly consider my own thoughts, my work became less important to me than the lives of a handful of pests I trapped inside of a globe. Nyrin, and I suppose you think we're going to roll over and forgive you, because you chose not to kill us. Refraining from murder should not be how low the bar is set. We were still trapped because of you. Yeah, we can't leave because of this barrier if you're alive. David, do you think I told you this story as a plea? A prayer for forgiveness and salvation? No. Simply an old man's final words. I am no fool. I cannot claim to care for each of you and then choose not to allow you your freedom. This was always going to be where it ended. I believe I simply wanted to enjoy what little time I had left with the only people I have ever truly known. Xeris, save your breath, wizard. Release our friend and die like the villain you are. Very well. Goodbye, then. It has been an honor. Black smoke flows out of David, his eyes roll back, and Vanexius appears. For the first time, we see his face. He is exactly as described. Tall, dark, and spooky. Black robes, red eyes, long fingers, decrepit, and shriveled. Shock from Nyrin. Deadpan from Penny. Shock from Belle. Confusion from Olive. Zyla beaming with excitement. Edgar looking away. David. Hello? Huh? What's going on? Who's that? Edgar. David. Look away. Okay. Is someone going to explain what's happening? Is this a subtext? Edgar. Shh, it's all right. I'll explain in a minute. Yes, we've all missed David. If David was not okay, I would, as an author, never forgive myself. It's one thing to kill your babies. I can't kill David. Not like that. Vanexius. Well, go on then, Lord Xeris. I killed you once. It's only fair you return the favor. What's that supposed to mean? You will never need to know. Xeris draws bow. Fine. Die then. We see a special image. We see Edgar tearing up, having turned David around. We see Nyrin and Belle kind of watching on. Olive holding onto Nyrin's leg. Xeris with the bow aimed. We hear the string snap, and Penny goes, Eli! Bam! Blackout, bowstring. Eli cuts the arrow out of the air like he did when Xeris shot at Penny. And we see Eli in front of Vanexius kind of blocking the arrow. Vanexius looking as shocked as everyone else does. Penelope, what are you doing? We've had enough murder between us to last a lifetime. I won't let this man make you a killer. Do you expect us to spare Vanexius after everything he's done? Not to mention the fact that we're stuck here, love. Are we all simply to go back into Merryroot City? Yes, I do expect you to spare him. And there's another way out of this tower. There's a way out for all of us. We see the interrogation clash screen, but for the first time in the game, it's Penny on one side and everybody else on the other side. Vanexius is sort of in the background, so Vanexius is not a part of this. Part 2, interrogation. All right, I'm going to take a deep breath. Please give me a moment. Oh my god. I actually think now would be a great time to pause and discuss thoughts about things that are happening. Um, my biggest concern with this act, because there's so much information, is that it's too much and like you can't follow. I need to take these headphones off. I don't need to hear the music. I'm sweating. I'm dying. Can I crack this window behind me? Hold on. No, I fully cannot. Can I? Wait, hold. Yes. Okay, that helps a little bit. Um, my biggest concern is that it's too much information, and that it doesn't feel like a solving anymore. It doesn't feel like satisfying to put the pieces together. But I guess we'll see. I mean, if you guys don't think so, and there's not even the visual aids yet, and it's still rough draft, I think that's a good sign. But hey, we're gonna keep going. Whew. Interrogation. Nyra. Penelope, I like to think we have mended our bridges. Don't tell me you're siding with this monster. Penny, I'm siding with life. We can save everyone right now. Why shouldn't we? Edgar, as loath as I am to admit it, are you sure everyone is worth saving? It isn't just Vanexius. If I'm right, we can save everyone. Clue presentation. So, you need to select 2 of these people. I'm just gonna... No, I want to see if this reads at all. 2 of these people are the correct clue. As 2 people who can be saved. Other people who can be saved. Oh god, my back is killing me. I'm so tempted to just move to the ground. Actually, I think I might do that. While you guys are thinking on that, I'm going to quickly relocate my computer. Ugh. Okay, Joffrey and Makara are our guesses. Joffrey and Makara are still inside the city. I know how to get them out, and they can help us get out of this tower. Xeris. Sorry, I didn't actually check visually if this is fine. Computer's balancing on a pen. You don't need that. Yes. Okay. This is the rest of the stream, guys. My back is killing me. We're just gonna do it down here. Xeris, even if that were true, this man ruined all of our lives. Some of us lost decades to this, and not everyone here lives as long as elves like you. Killing him won't bring those years back, Xeris. Just like letting him live won't cause any more harm. He's changed without asking for forgiveness. Why shouldn't we give him a second chance? Xyla, and how do you know he's changed? He said a few sappy words and didn't destroy our souls. Don't forget that it scars a person to cast that spell. He may have just decided to kill us all later. No, he had no intention of hurting us again. Clue presentation. This one I will give because this one's pretty straightforward. It's magical endings, Nexius' journal, or prepared to die. And if you do prepared to die, it's you all saw how close Xeris' arrow got to him. If Eli hadn't stopped it, Vanexius would be dead. Unless he had a contingency love, like Joffrey did. So what? He has nowhere to go. There's nowhere he could hide that we wouldn't find him. Even if we wanted to do this, how would we get out with Vanexius still alive? Clue presentation. Now this one, I am curious if you guys know. This is one of those things where it's like weird magical terminology that's come up in the past. And I'm curious to see if that is a thing you guys could pick up. Again, there's not really much of a penalty for failure at this point. Well, I guess you can still use the time watch to take you back. But I'm just going to keep plowing forward. No, I want to wait and see if you guys can guess which one this is. It is something that is discussed, but it's been a minute since it's been discussed, and I'm aware that it's not just like, hey, here's an obvious thing. This is meant to be the, quote, final boss fight of this game.
If you guess teleportation, just because the door is sealed doesn't mean we can't use teleportation magic to teleport out. Xyla. Actually, it does. A barrier like this stops all forms of passage, including transdimensional. Edgar. We would need another way. And then, you get the hint after that of there's magic out there that specializes in putting up barriers. I bet it can take them down, too. And then I'm going to press forward. We'll call that a trust down and say what it is, but it's abjuration magic. We know someone with a focus in abjuration magic, the power to protect and raise barriers. Edgar. Makara. Bell. So what? Just because you know how to use barriers doesn't mean you know how to break them. Penny. I'd imagine that's true, unless she was the one that put the barrier up in the first place. Nyren. Shock. Penny. Vanexius. If I remember correctly, Joffrey, and by association Makara, were the last ones to come into the city, except for Grunt. That means that one of them was responsible for sealing you in here, right? That is correct. They came to confront me, but established the barrier in case they lost. It seems Joffrey had more than one contingency. He always was a crafty one. Not only that, but when I was talking with the two of them about possibilities to protect the barrier, to put the barrier back up, Makara said she had the ability to put up a large barrier if she had a spellcaster as powerful as Joffrey to help her make it permanent. If they did this, they can take it down. Olive. Penny. The music gets very quiet. Olive looks up, hurt. I know we talked about forgiveness, but Vanexius is really bad. He trapped us in a ball. He killed all those people. No, Olive, he didn't. Only one person died because of all of this. All of the names in town are presented as options, and you get to pick who is the only person that actually died because of Vanexius' actions. Who would you choose? You may, again, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this down here. Lag, you beautiful bastard. A guess for Kite. Yep, it's that again. This is not meant to be a very difficult one, but it is meant to be this is the moment for the players to figure it out. Kite righteous. Everybody else who died was a simulacra or some other spell that only existed as a facet of this situation. The only actual life to end was Kite's, and that was more my doing than anyone else's. Penny, you couldn't have known. No, I couldn't have. I don't blame myself for Kite's death. I know that if it weren't for Vanexius, he would still be alive. But I also know that if it weren't for Vanexius, I wouldn't have met Kite in the first place. I wouldn't have met any of you. We all lost someone, but look at who we gained. No, Vanexius didn't intend for us to find each other in the way we did. But he felt it too. It's why he changed. We all did. And if Kite were still here today, there's no way his solution would be kill your way out. Kite always had another way, which I think is pretty impressive for an ex-assassin. Nyren, even after losing Kite, you still have it in your heart to forgive this man? I do. And I think if I can manage that, you all can too. So what do you say? Hear me out. Let's end this once and for all with no more lives lost. Are you in? Edgar. I'm in. Olive. I'm in! Nyman. All right, Knifewit. I'm in. Xeris. Sure, why not? Xyla. I don't see why not, love. Bell. Sure. I trust you. David. I have absolutely no idea what's going on, but if everyone else is in, I'm in too, I think. Penny. Vanexius? Vanexius. Oh, I was unaware I had any say in the matter. I assumed I was simply a consequence in your decision, not an instrument of it. Hey, if you'd prefer to die, you're more than welcome to make that choice. You make a tempting offer, and yet you have piqued my curiosity. I, too, am in. All right, then. Let's go bust Joffrey and Makara out of Merryroot City. Part 3, the finale. I also love David. I want to take a moment to say, we'll talk about this more after the game, but writing for Vanexius possessing David was a very careful thing, and there's hints. When you play the game a second time, the hints about, like, David after Grunt's death are so rampant. It's in everything he says. So even down to, like, when he realizes he doesn't know what gift Penny brought him, they're all going like, "Oh, this is what Penny brought me. This is what Penny brought me," and he goes, "Oh no, I can't find it." And Penny has to say, "Oh, the holy symbol," and he goes, "Oh right, I left it under the pillow." There's a lot of times he says things that will imply he understands certain things that typically David has not in the past. Penny calls someone out for saying, "Oh, David doesn't understand sarcasm," but David doesn't actually, like, respond in a way that he doesn't understand. Like, there's 1,000 hints that it's David being possessed by Vanexius. You just don't think about it. But I'm very curious to, like, if I were to, like, send you guys the script or something and see what you guys think of the writing after the fact the second time through. It's very, very big. It was a huge challenge to do it while making it obvious, or not obvious, making it realistic to the character without being a dead giveaway that, oh, this is clearly not David. It's also why if you think back to much more recently, after Edgar reads his goodbye letter, David fully breaks down and weeps horribly. Because that was a letter written to him. Anyway, I'll go back to it now. Part 3, the finale. Tension in the room resets. David. Can someone please explain what's going on now? Unless I'm not supposed to know. In that case, don't, and I will be here, standing here, unless I'm supposed to be somewhere else. Edgar. David, walk with me. Okay. The two leave. Zyla. So, what is your brilliant plan to help our two lost friends get out of an inescapable prison? It's not inescapable, and the plan I had to get us out is still hanging around in there. Xeris. You mean Bell? Caledon. He stayed inside with Makara. Penny. My messenger. When the simulacra ends, Joffrey and Makara will learn the truth of Merryroot and come out to us. Vanexius, will that really work? Vanexius. You heard Sophie as well as I. The spell performed as intended. The message survived. Quite candidly, I'm impressed you were able to decipher my findings as quickly as you did. Nyron. So, it's a waiting game. How long do you figure until Cal dies of old age? Zyla. I don't think we need to wait. Olive. Yeah, why don't we just kill him? Xeris. Olive! Penny. Zyla! That's simultaneous. Olive. What? He's not even real anyway. Nyron. Regardless of how you view him, he's real to us. He's a friend. Vanexius. Is he? Would you like to see how a simulacra appears when your minds have not been clouded by magic? Nyron. Now hold on. I don't think you should be casting any spells. Very well. No, Nyron, it's fine. This could be important for us. I'm receiving mixed messages. I want to see! Nyron. Fine. Flurry of magic. We see a special panel where a simulacra appears. It is a marionette-looking mannequin version of Penny. Super eerie, joints and marble and porcelain and all that kind of stuff. Belle. What the? Xeris. Dear gods. Simulacra. Hi there, I'm Penny Witt. Yes, that is the exact reaction I wanted. Belle. Olive. See? When I said people weren't real, that's what I was talking about. That's what everyone fake looked like to me. Nyron. Can it think? Is it alive? Hi there, I'm Penny Witt. It is not. It responds based on a simple set of rules. As I had to conjure this one quickly, it is quite simple. But a more advanced simulacra can respond to a vast number of situations. Take Captain Grunt. I put a great deal of time and effort into the creation of that spell, so it would be aptly prepared to respond to any situation, or even learn how to respond to new situations that would arise. Combine that with the mind-clouding magic of Merryroot City, and it's no wonder none of you were able to tell the difference. So that's what Cal is? Just a puppet? Waiting to die, as he was created to do. Olive. Can we please kill him? Nyron. Mortified. ... Again. Vanexius. I am happy to do the honors if none of you wish to gather more blood on your hands. Xeris. We can't though, can we? You would lose your memories when you went to the city. I would not need to enter. Penny. No, that's right. There's a spell we can use. Clue presentation. Surprise, we're still in it. But there is a spell that we can send in. If you would like to, if anyone would like to take a gander, I'm just gonna keep going. It's been a minute. Typically, these would be played hopefully more back to back. But I'm just gonna keep plowing forward. It is the missionary spell, which would be we can use a missionary spell. Send it in with the task of killing Kaladin. Yes, cool, good, Griff. I'm glad you got it actually before I pressed forward. Thank you. Your last missionary spell didn't handle very well. Miles didn't actually take any action until almost a year had passed. Spelled that wrong. Well, her task was monumental and half erased. Get everyone to leave Merryroot? I get it. I wouldn't have known how to do that either, not knowing the truth. But killing a simulacra? Nothing about that should be erased, and it would happen quickly. If we send the spell in at night when Makara and Joffrey are asleep, it should happen almost immediately. Am I right? Joffrey is a tricky one to slip past, however. Yes, I believe you are correct. So shall I cast the spell? Xyla. Not a chance. Allowing you to whip together a simulacra was one thing, but I certainly don't trust you to create a killer. And you think you are so deserving of these people's trust? You were a killer long before I trapped you in Merryroot City, Bloodshadow. Olive. Yeah, your last name is Bloodshadow. Spooky much? Belle. Maybe I could do it? I have no objections. Anyone else? Xeris. To entrust a dangerous killing spell to a dark wizard, his assistant, his rival, or his lover. They all sound like such enticing choices. Nyron. It doesn't matter. We're all on the same side now, loath as I am to trust Vanexius. Annabelle, you may go ahead. You know, you aren't in charge anymore, Lady Nyron. Just get on with it. All right. It's gonna take me a bit, though. If Vanexius isn't supposed to guide me because he could lead me astray, figuring out how to cast a spell could take ages. Well, not necessarily. Then we get, there's Dark Arcanum as a clue, Sophie or Penny's Notes, which is the correct option. Penny's Notes. Looking through the books upstairs, I found old notes that I took. I'm sure I was marking things that would be useful. Yes, how typical of an adventurer. You find priceless tomes filled with centuries of arcane knowledge, and deface them with your scribblings. Oh, shut it. Don't make me regret saving you. Vanexius, ... Yeah, that should help. Go ahead and get them, and I'll get to work. And we get an intermission. I do want to call back really quick, by the way. When you find those scribblings in the middle of the investigation, it's David who notices them, and David makes a snide comment of like, man, whoever did this doesn't seem to have much respect for these books. And like makes a comment that's very innocent David sounding, but is absolutely Vanexius being mad at Penny for writing in his books. At intermission, Vanexius is off in a corner. Edgar and David are back. Olive is standing with Nyron. Good. I want you to be mad about how clever it all is. All right. Things seem to have calmed down for a moment. I must say, my lady, I am thoroughly impressed with your work. Master Kite would be proud. Thanks, Eli. You know, I couldn't have done any of this without you. Oh, pish-tosh, you are perfectly capable on your own. Sure, but you have now saved my life, Vanexius' life, and given me invaluable company for more than a year, so thank you. You'd better not go making me weep, my lady. I would hate to tarnish this fine blade with rust. You're a sap like the rest of us. All right. Now's as good a time as any to check in with everyone. And you can talk to everyone. So let's talk to everyone. Let's talk to who on our list of people we can talk to. Who would you like to talk to first? We've got David, Edgar. Okay, great. Hey, David. How are you feeling? I feel great. Edgar asked me that too. Is that weird? Should I feel bad? No, I just wanted to make sure. You were, well, possessed for a long time. I'll get Olive next, Griff. You were possessed for a long time. Yeah, but I guess I was sort of asleep for it, so it feels like I took a really long nap. Besides, Edgar said I missed 2 whole mysteries, and those have been very stressful for me, so I don't mind at all. Well, I'm glad to have you back. Edgar got you all caught up? Uh-huh. I don't understand most of it, but I guess that Merryroot City was actually a prison, and Vanexius was like our warden, but now he's sort of our friend. Uh, that is a pretty good abridged version, I guess. I don't know what most of it means, but I know what a friend is, and I'm really excited to have a new one. Do you think I'll have any fun stories to tell me? I've missed you, David. Okay. Confused about this. And that's the David dialogue. I love him so much. Where is Olive? Oh, it's Nyron and Olive together, that's why. If you talk to them. Hey, you two. That's the thing is you don't realize you've missed him until he's back, and you're like, oh, yeah, he really has been gone, hasn't he? Hey, you two. How are we holding up? Great. I would settle on fine, I think. I'll take that. Mom's trying to figure out how to say sorry to me. Olive. Olive what? You've been talking down to me since I can remember. You've never ever justified you've been talking down to me since I can remember. You're never ever justified in getting mad at me again. At least not for another 12 years. Little brat. You know you love me. Penelope, thank you for this. I know I said recently that perhaps the rest of us were getting rusty. I see now that we were simply lost. You had the courage to find us. That's flattering, but I think you should save your flowery words for an apology for Olive. You are both enjoying this far too much. Olive, I'm sorry. I'll think about accepting your apology. Hey, that's progress. Brats, the both of you. No wonder you get along. And that's their dialogue. Anyone else, or should I just go down in order at this point? I'm just going to go down in order because we're going to go through them all anyway, and I want to. We have more to get through, and I don't want to have to rush at the end. Let's go to Edgar. Edgar, how are you holding up? Oh, it has been a roller coaster of a day, sweetheart. I'll tell you that for free. Yeah. You know this doesn't change anything, right? I don't think differently of you at all. I know. It was never you thinking differently of me that I was worried for. Everyone else is too distracted with Vanexius to even think about it. It's not everyone else either. Ed, what was I doing? How could I have fallen in love with all of this? From the sound of it, you were trying to change Vanexius' ways. I think it's noble. It wasn't. You can't change people, Penny. You can only give them the space to change if they want to. In the end, isn't that what you did? I suppose it was. Hey, I love you, Ed. Nothing you do is going to change that. I love you too, Penny. And I hope you're right about that. I'm right about most things. That's the damn truth. Second bit of awkward dialogue in there. Just, there we go. Cool. Just had to cut a few words that sounded awkward in there. I like that. Okay, moving on. Xeris dialogue. Hey, everything okay? On one hand, no, obviously. This has been insane. 2 weeks ago, everything was fine. It was the first night of the Bright Star Festival, and I was looking forward to Edgar's cooking. And now... But it wasn't real. None of it was. It was just there to placate us. What is real, Penelope? That word has been thrown around a lot in the past few days. Well, it's a big question. If I learned one thing from being a thief, it's that all we really have is how we feel. No amount of gold or magic will ever change that. So if we felt it was real, wasn't it? At least to us? Yeah, I guess it was. I wouldn't go back, though. Not because I don't want to, mind you. Merryroot had its perks. But Olive would never have been happy there. And finding their happiness is worth any amount of loss. Thank you, Penelope. You have always shown a great deal of care for them. But there are no words to express how grateful I am for Olive's future. Don't mention it. And let's keep moving to Belle. Everything all right over here, Belle? Yeah, your notes are actually pretty good. You got some promises wizard if you wanted. Oh, gosh, no. Thank you, but I much prefer swordplay. Sure. Belle, are we okay? What do you mean? The scars on your hands are past. You have more reason to be... Thank you, I'm so glad you like them. You have more reason to be wary of me. I was Vanexius' assistant, after all. The past is the past, Penny. If I didn't believe that, I wouldn't be helping with this insane idea to free a dark wizard. True. You know this could be his plan, right? and accepted his fate because it was his escape or to die? Maybe, but I don't believe that. Yeah, I know. Me neither. Hey, when we get out of here, do you want to stick together for a while? I'd like that. And let's talk to Xyla. Oh no, Xyla is still in Xyla form, sorry. I know at some point he switches back to her human form. So what exactly are you? Not human, that's for sure. I appear to be some kind of fae. Fae? Well, that would explain your obsession with deals and favors. Yes. Favor owed to a fae is binding. I never did manage to get one from you. I think I'll be keeping it that way, if it's all the same to you. Oh, quite. I have won something far more important than a favor. And what's that? My freedom. And your friendship. Oh, don't you go soft on me now. Very well. Then an exchange is in order. Penelope Knifewit, I owe you a favor. Oh, shit. All right then, you weren't kidding. It's nothing really. I get the feeling that if the favor is for you, it'll be one I'm happy to oblige. And, of course, we can also get dialogue with Vanexius. So, Vanexius, Knifewit, what are you going to do with your newfound freedom? I am going to remain here. What? Really? Why should I not? The outside world has no love for me. With the barrier removed, they will think me dead, and that suits me just fine. I will continue my work until my death, which will be relatively soon, I think. Hey, come on. Really? Someone like you doesn't have a backup plan? Potion of eternal life? Nothing? I had as much. I had attained immortality through dark contracts and infernal dealings. But these are things of the past. What happened? I took a life in anger. In the past, I would think nothing of this, but it was after... I had already learned to value life more, even if I wished not to admit it. So I gave up my immortality to return the life I had taken. You know, if you wanted us to take your side, you could have led with that. I had no intention of surviving this day. It is your motive to keep me within my mortal coil, not my own. You know, most people would just say, thank you. If you wish, I can speak the words, but there would be no sincerity behind them. No, that's all right. I'll pass on insincere gratitude. Very well. So, the outside world. What's it like? Like, really like? I see no reason to tell you. You shall know for yourself soon enough. He did say that. He did indeed say that. We'll talk about it later. I mean, if you think about the timing, it does track, because he specifically says he took life in anger, but it was after he had already learned to care about life more. And we know that Xeris arrived in Merryroot about 3 years after Nyrin and the cleric went in. If you follow the journal, it's 2 years after Nyrin and David go in that Edgar leaves the tower and goes in. So Xeris would have arrived about a year after Edgar. So if you follow the timeline, that absolutely tracks. I'm going to say that now because it is not mentioned at any other point in the game. That's very much meant to be that's the end of that. Now I realize writing this, I need to change something later because there's some dialogue Vanexius gives that contradicts his own attitude towards this. I'm not going to change it for tonight. I'm just going to keep going. But I am going to get it later, and you'll know what it is. When all the other dialogue is finished... okay, I think I got it. Would you like me to double-check your incants? No. If I'm messed up that bad, Sophie would tell me. I sure would, darling. All right, then. Let's do this. Everyone head downstairs. We should be there to greet them when they get out. If it is all the same to you, I suspect your plan will fail the moment Joffrey lays eyes on me. Edgar, can you turn invisible for the time being? I did not think I was entrusted enough for such a thing. Edgar walks to Vanexius and takes his hand. Go ahead, everyone. I'll let you know if he sneaks off. Vanexius, getting emotional, turns invisible. Olive. So we transition to downstairs. We see everyone there. We see Edgar in hand-holding position, but we don't see Vanexius, of course. Olive, How long do you think it'll take for them to flash of light Joffrey and Makara up here? What's up, assorted bitches? Got your mail! Makara. My friends, warm greetings to you all. Joffrey! Demon Lady! Hi! Oh, right. You never got a chance to meet, Edgar. Oh, right. You never got a chance to meet Makara. Makara. Given my attitude when we all met, this may have been for the best. Penny. Joffrey, do you remember us? Nah, but Makara filled me in. Seems like you're all pretty dope, to be honest. I simply told the tale how I heard it from Joffrey before. Xeris. It is good to see you again, Joffrey. Nyren. And you, Makara, in spite of getting off on the wrong foot. So, what's the skinny? Barrier's still up, I see. Are we going dark wizard hunting? Penny. Well, not exactly. Slow fade, and when we come back up, we're in the lounge. The fire has been relit. Joffrey and Makara are in the lounge chairs. Everyone else is standing. Edgar is still in his hand-holding pose. That is quite a lot to process. Yeah. You sure we can trust the guy? I am. But am I right? Can you do it, Makara? We can. I got a good look at the seal on the door when we were at the ground level. It certainly is my magic. I simply have my reservations. Yeah, me too. Dudes like V-neck have a silver tongue. How do we know that once he's free, he doesn't turn right back to his evil ways? You do not. Vanexius appears from his invisibility. The man himself. You look like shit, my dude. I care not if you kill me. I've lived longer than any mortal should already. I have come to terms with my deeds. I was curious of Knifewood's plan, but I have no need to continue in this life. Kill me and escape. I have long since made my peace. Works for me! Joffrey? No. Aw, babe, I was gonna torch him. Penny. Wait, could you? What about the curse? Joffrey. No curse! Felt it go as soon as I heard the message. I bet it was just Sophie's way of keeping me in Merryroot. She knew I'd never stay for any threat, so she had to make up some bullshit dark magic instead. Makara. This does not matter. I will not see a man murdered who requires forgiveness. I do not seek forgiveness. I did not say you sought it. I said you require it. And furthermore, you've received it. As so often happens when we cease a search for something, this is when we locate what it was we needed most. I trust you, babe, but I don't trust him. What happens when he gets bored? Well then, simple solution. We lower the barrier, we leave, we put it back up again. You can do that? We did it once. I cannot imagine it would be impossible to do again. Enough of this foolishness. You waste your time and your energy. Can you not see that I wish for all this to be over? I have nothing left to live for, so let me die. Never mind. That's the part I thought contradicted. It does not contradict as bad as I thought it did. He does sort of have the air of like, whatever. I'm gonna stay here. I'll just let this kind of be over with. I'm gonna let that stay. I have nothing left to live for, so let me die. Edgar. I don't know about nothing, sweetheart. Penny, shock, then. Everglow. I'll stay. Edgar, you can't. I sure can, and I will. Everglow. I love you beyond words. I would not have you throw your life away on me. See, your problem is negative self-talk. I don't think I would be throwing my life away at all. I left last time because I wanted you to change and couldn't force it. Now, you have changed. You don't want to hurt people anymore. That's all I ever really wanted, I imagine. Because at the heart of all that cruelty, I saw a magical genius with the potential to make this world a better place. If you give up now, that's it. You die. And it was all for nothing. But if I stay, you've got a good 20, 30 years left in you, I bet. Think of what incredible advances we could make in magic in that time. If you focus on knowledge instead of power. Vanexius. ... I loved you once, Vanexius. I didn't need a letter I left behind to tell me that. Let me learn to love you again. Vanexius gets emotional, begins to openly weep. Edgar. We see them embrace as the rest of the town looks on. I do not deserve you, my love. Nobody deserves anything. We all just make the most of what we got. And we are back to our, we leave that CG of hugging. You're serious, Edgar? You're going to stay with this clown? I am. This clown and I have a lot of catching up to do. So we are in agreement. I lower the barrier, we leave, and we raise the barrier again. Edgar, when Vanexius passes away, you will be free to return to the world as well. Here's hoping I'm stuck for a long time then. All right, let's blow this caravan. Everyone, gather what you need. We shall meet on the first floor when we have all made the necessary preparations to leave. And we move into the epilogue at this point. Now, you can skip right to the end. You can go to the doors and leave the tower and end the game. But where's the fun in that when we get goodbye dialogue for everyone? Let's talk to everyone one more time. Welcome to the epilogue, baby. If you examine Merryroot City, you get some extra special dialogue of, goodbye, Kite. Thank you for everything. Truly, we have had an adventure to make Master Kite proud. The first, but far from the last. Together then, my lady. Till the end. Tally-ho! Oh yes, get sad. It's sad time. It is emotions all the way down, boys. Always has been. Let's talk, speaking of emotions, let's talk to Edgar. Edgar, are you really sure about this? Of course I am, sweetheart. I don't do things I'm not sure of. I'm gonna miss the shit out of you. Hey, you're an elf. You'll still be alive when I'm finally free. You'll be old as hell. Hopefully. I'll still be able to cook, though, I bet. Get you dinner sometime? That better be a promise. My word always is. Goodbye, sweetheart. Bye, Ed. That's it. Vanexius dialogue. So, I've been wondering, who was I to you? What did I do that landed me in Merryroot City? I am not entirely certain. Excuse me? You were sent here, as so many were. You told me when you arrived you were a peace offering from a faraway land, but I sensed immediately that there was more to you than that. Peace offering? Yes. You said that your city, farther it was, feared the spread of my power, and sent you as a sacrificial gift that I might leave them alone. Yeah, that doesn't sound like me. No, it does not. But I was too lost in the chaos of my mind at the time to look further into it. I did with you what I did with all of my nuisances, and hurled you where you could no longer bother me. Thought I'd ask. Don't suppose you caught the name of my hometown, did you? I did not, but it is far to the north. This much I recall. Well, that's a start. Thanks. It is of no consequence to me. And you aren't still considering up and dying, right? If you break Edgar's heart... I hurt Edgar in the past. I tried to avoid it by crafting artifacts. A vial that would show me how much he trusted me. A watch that let me try again when I said the wrong thing. I know now that it was my obsession and neglect that hurt Edgar, not a lack of skill or power. So long as I live, making up for the hurt I have administered shall be my only purpose. Damn, you are so dramatic. No wonder he fell for you. Vanexius blushes. Well, goodbye then. Have a good rest of your life. Knife wit. Thank you. You are very welcome. I, just as a heads up, might change that entire bit of who Penny was to Vanexius. I wrote that, I had that in mind before I realized where the series was going. Knowing what I know now about the sequels, if ever sequels exist, I don't think that actually works anymore, so I might need to change all of that to something entirely different. And yes, Griff, that's hinted at within the journal, but only concretely said here. Yes, the vial and the watch were things made by Vanexius to try and save his relationship with Edgar, because nothing in this game exists without a reason. Nothing just exists except for Eli. Eliezer's never explained other than just being a magic item. I thought about doing that, and I genuinely think it's too much to cram into this game. I've already crammed so much in. We can address Kite. We can address Kite and Eli's story in a prequel. Yes, God, I would. That is not addressed again. I would actually much sooner replace the dialogue about her with the dialogue about those crystal balls. That actually does have a thing. The idea is they aren't done yet. They were for like when Merryroot filled up, but that is something important to talk about. So 1 second. Change Penny's goodbye with Vanexius to address crystal balls. Thank you, Red. Cool. Yeah, it's not a huge amount of dialogue, but I do prefer it to that. Because I do want to answer that question of, hey, were they on? Do they go anywhere? And the answer is they always were meant to, but never finished. Let's talk to Joffrey. Penny, the Penster, Knife's Edge, Whitaker. Any of those nicknames working? Not even a little. We've got a lot of friendship to catch up on, Joffrey. I gathered as much. Soon we will get to hang out after this. Huh? What do you mean? The world's a-waitin'. Makara and I have to make up for a decade of adventure we missed. You don't expect us to slow down, do you? Again, I may need to change dialogue just because it doesn't make sense anymore. I do like her asking where she came from, but I don't think the answer he gave is true to the fiction anymore. But I appreciate that. I will try to keep the same energy in whatever I change it to, Griff. You don't expect us to slow down, do you? Rude. Can you teleport? Well, no, but fly? No, I meant run super fast? All right, I get it. Good. But hey, tell you what. If we ever happen upon the same place at the same time, maybe we can do a side quest together. Go slay a dragon or something. Yeah, that sounds nice. It's a date. See you when I see you, Penster. I'll see you then, Joff. Oh, I know I never let you call me Joff. You did, actually. Bullshit. It's not. I gave you 500 gold and you said I could call you Joff whenever I wanted. Damn it, that tracks. Oh no, the artifacts required to keep the artifacts dialogue. Absolutely. That's not going anywhere for sure. Makara dialogue. I'm really glad to see you again, Makara. As am I to see you, Penelope Knifewhip. I apologize for nearly ripping out your throat. Hey, no hard feelings. All's well that ends well, right? Indeed. And this certainly seems to be a happy ending. Do you suppose we shall see each other again? I'm sure of it. Come visit me any time. Wonderful. How shall I find you? I, don't know, actually. I don't know what's waiting for me outside, so I don't know where I'll be. Well, between Joffrey and I'm quite certain we will figure something out. Sounds good. Oh, before we part, have you given any thought to your family name? I really do like Knifewhip. Perhaps we could get married simply to make it official? I don't know how Joffrey would feel about that. Is marrying multiple individuals a custom you partake in? Not to my knowledge. Besides, marriage isn't my style. I'd be delighted to have you as a sister, though. I rather like that idea. Sisters, then. Sisters. Take care of yourself, my newfound sister. Right back at you, Makara Knifewit. David dialogue. Gotta have it. Hey, David. You ready to get out of here? Sure. I didn't realize we were trapped anywhere until about an hour ago, so I'm feeling pretty indifferent to everything. That makes sense. So, what are you going to do when you're out? Settle down? Be some small town's cleric? Oh, I don't think so. I think I'll probably go on adventures. I've been settled down for a long time now. I'm ready to go fight evil. Hell yeah, David. I was thinking the same thing. You want to come with me? Really? Yeah, really. Annabelle and I are going to stick together for a while, but you're welcome to come. Two people hardly make a party, right? No! I mean, yes. No, it doesn't. And yes, I will. I will make a party. I'll come with the party. I'll do the, party thing. I want to adventure with you! I can't think of a better companion to stick by my side. See you out there, David. I see you right now, but I'll see you out there too. Adventure! And it's David dialogue. I'm just gonna wait until I get Red's reaction for that. Before I take a sip of water while I do that. Ooh. Best boy indeed. And speaking of Belle, let's talk to Belle. Hey, Annabelle. Great work on that missionary spell. It was nothing. Hey, did you mean it before? That we can stick together out there? Absolutely. Okay. Thanks, Penny. I think I've never been much good on my own. I'm always the assistant. First Vanexius, then Zyla, then you. I like helping others. Well, you're not my assistant. You're my partner. Got that? Yeah, got it. Let's go kick some ass. Hell yeah. So while I'm thinking about it, another fun thing that you know is, so Zyla is a huge mess whenever you see her potion shop, and as soon as she gets arrested, first thing Annabelle does is organize it. We have to imagine Annabelle as Vanexius' assistant, and then when Vanexius goes into I would like to imagine Vanexius' tower as a giant mess, and then when Annabelle's left alone in the tower, first thing she does is clean it up and organize it and make it nice and neat, and put all the gold and neat stacks in the vault, because she's alone in this tower and has nothing to do with organize, and it's very much just kind of her instinct. It's never said, but it is implied if you look through the game and like the timeline of everything. I want to share a little bit of side dialogue with that. Well, Olive, ready to see what the outside world is really like? Yeah, I bet it's awesome. Me too. What's the first thing you want to do? How should I know? None of you morons remember what the outside world is like. Fair. So I think I'm just going to see what there is. Who knows? Maybe I'll be an adventurer like you. I bet you'd make a great adventurer one day, Olive. One day? Psh, I'll go out and save a damsel in distress right now. Who needs to wait for one day? I've been waiting my whole life. I'm never going to wait for anything again. That's a spirit. Good luck out there, Olive. Thanks. You too, Penny. And when we see Zyla, she is now back in her human shape. Hey, what happened to Fairy Zyla? It turns out I can change back and forth at will. I simply needed to know it was possible. So what, not a fan of the wings and purple eyes? On the contrary, love, I think I make a rather fetching fairy. But if I was a rival to a dark wizard, I'd imagine I have some enemies in the outside world. Better to move in disguise and choose my time to present myself carefully. Makes sense. So what are you going to do out there? I had considered finding out what magical work I was up to that made me Vanexius' rival. But if I'm being honest, I think I made a start a little potion shop in a small town. Really? After all the complaining you did in Merryroot? I didn't like being trapped, I'll grant you that. But in a real town, with new people coming and going, think of all the favors I could collect. There's the motive. Well, good luck, Zyla. And good luck yourself. Don't forget that I owe you one. Never could. Nyron and Xeris get dialogue together. So, what are you two going to do when you get out? Nyron, I'm going to head back to, well, whatever land it was I was taken from. I'd like to think will be some people who are happy to see me return safely. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I'm talking like Xeris. It's not. Some people, Xeris, you would hope. If your rule was anything like it was in Merryroot, they might have been happy to see you go. Hush you. I mean, they did send a cleric to purify the tower instead of ransom to get you back. How much were you really worth to them? I can't believe I invited you to come along. You two are staying together then? Of course we are. I have no destination in mind. I'm not going to lose out on another moment of Olive's childhood. It would be nice for them to have a mother and a father, now that we know what's real and what isn't. That's great. Well, good luck to all of you. Should we ever find our way back, know that you will have a home whensoever you come to visit. I appreciate that, Nyron. Godspeed, Penelope. I hope the world is ready for you. And that is all the dialogue. Once you do that, you can click on the door. I mean, you can click on the door anyway, but you click on the door and you say, all right, everybody ready? Various affirmations from everyone. Makara. Very well then. Goodbye, Evil Tower. Joffrey. Hello, world! We cut to outside Vanexius' tower. We see a dark, spooky tower on a blasted landscape, covered by a magical blue barrier. The barrier flickers and fades. The doors open. We see everyone, except for Edgar and Vanexius, stand... No, I think we even see Edgar and Vanexius. They're just in the back, still inside the doors. And everyone else is outside the tower, looking out on the world with wonder. Credits roll as the camera slowly zooms out. As it does, we think for a moment perhaps that the world really has ended. It's all dark and awful, but the farther out we get, the more we see of a world that is still thriving. Green grass, trees. We see tall buildings and beautiful waterfalls and cliffsides and mountains and birds flying through the sky. By the time the zoom out is finished, we can barely see our heroes anymore. And in the sky, for just a moment, we see a glint of a glass dome flash overhead in the sparkling sunlight. And the blackout. That's the end of the game. And that is Nothing Ever Happens in Merryroot City.